A curious story of laziness and opportunity. Let me tell you a curious story. A long, long time ago, in a dusty village with dirt roads and mud houses, lived a man lazier than a sleepy cat. Every morning, his wife, a strong-willed woman with muscular arms and a gaze that could intimidate even a cloud, had to practically kick him out of bed. Still half asleep, his face buried in the pillow, he would yawn and mumble, "Again? Do I really have to get up? What a bother." With furrowed brows, his wife would snap, "Get up, you lazy oaf. If you don't work, we'll never be rich. Look at this yard full of leaves, the firewood uncut, and the leaky roof. Do something useful." But he wouldn't even flinch. Instead, he would stretch out like a lazy dog in the sun. One afternoon, fed up with carrying all the responsibilities, his wife stood in front of him with her hands on her hips. "Tell me, how do you think we'll ever be rich if you don't lift a finger?" The lazy man yawned so wide it seemed he might swallow a mosquito, then said, "One day, we'll be rich without working. Don't you see that mountain over there? They say that behind it lives a wise man who knows all the secrets. Tomorrow, I'll go ask him how to get rich without lifting a finger." His wife crossed her arms and raised an eyebrow, skeptical. But at least, for once, the lazy man was promising to do something. The journey to the wise man. The next morning, still half asleep, he set off on his journey. The landscape was peaceful, gentle hills, dry fields, and a breeze that smelled of grass. He walked heavily, as if carrying sacks of sand on his feet, grumbling about the long road ahead. After hours of walking, he reached a rocky area where the wind whistled like an old gossip. Suddenly, from behind some rocks, a skinny wolf with visible ribs and hungry eyes appeared. In a rough voice, the wolf asked, "Where are you going so slowly?" To the wise man behind the mountain. "I want to be rich without working," the lazy man replied, scratching his head. The wolf licked its lips and complained, "Then ask him something for me, human. I eat and eat, yet I never feel full. It's like I have a bottomless pit in my stomach. Help me, please." Feeling uneasy, the lazy man raised his hand in agreement. "Fine, I'll ask," he sighed. He wasn't in a hurry anyway, and the wolf was a bit frightening, so it was best to move on. Further down the road, the path became dusty. Hours passed, and as the sun was setting, he came across an apple tree that looked like a skeleton, leafless, fruitless, almost lifeless. The tree, speaking in a soft, sad voice like a sigh, asked, "Traveler, where are you going?" To the wise man. "I want to be rich without lifting a stick," the lazy man answered as if it were the most normal thing in the world. "So you seek help too," the tree said. "Then ask him about me. I no longer bear sweet apples. My leaves die too soon. I feel something wrong in my roots. I need to heal." The lazy man shrugged without much enthusiasm. All right, I'll ask." And he continued on his way. The next day, with sore feet and an empty stomach, he reached the shores of a shimmering lake. The water was so clear he could see smooth stones at the bottom. There, a huge fish, almost as big as a log, emerged, its eyes sad and mouth twisted. "Where are you going, stranger?" the fish asked, splashing slightly. To the wise man behind the mountain, the lazy man said, already bored of repeating himself. The fish groaned in a deep voice, "Ask him what's in my throat. There's something stuck that won't let me swallow. I live with constant discomfort, unable to enjoy my meals. Please, help me." Again, the lazy man raised his hand, now out of habit. "Fine, I'll ask. Don't worry." Now carrying 3 requests along with his own, the lazy man kept walking. The wise man's answers finally, after climbing one last hill, exhausted with legs as weak as noodles, he saw an old man sitting on a rock, staring at the orange horizon. The wise man had a long, snow-white beard and was so still he looked like a statue. The air smelled of fresh herbs, and the wind was gentler, as if the world were at peace. Nervous but determined, the lazy man approached and blurted out his request. "Wise man, I want to be rich without working. My wife scolds me every day, saying we'll never achieve anything. But I want wealth without breaking a sweat." The old man didn't take his eyes off the sky and, in a deep voice, asked, "Is that all you have to say?" The lazy man blinked, scratched his head, and then remembered the wolf. the apple tree, and the fish. He quickly explained their problems too. The wise man remained silent for a few moments. The air felt tense. The lazy man waited, and waited, and waited. Finally, the old man spoke. "Tell the wolf that to satisfy his hunger, he must eat the first lazy man he finds. To the fish, tell him there is a great treasure stuck in his throat. A valuable object must be removed. Once out, he will be able to eat happily. And for the apple tree, tell it that beneath its roots, there is a chest filled with gold coins. That hidden wealth is what is making it sick. The gold must be removed so it can flourish again." The lazy man nodded impatiently. "And what about me, wise one? Don't leave me in suspense." The old man smiled mysteriously beneath his beard. "To become rich without any effort, just go back the way you came. No need to work. As soon as you return home, fortune will be waiting for you." With that, the wise man stood up and walked to his cabin with an enviable tranquility. The return and missed opportunities grinning from ear to ear, the lazy man rushed back, dreaming of mountains of gold and an easy life. First, he reached the lake. The large fish greeted him eagerly. "You're back. What did the wise man say about me? Tell me, please." The lazy man, impatient, sighed. "He said you have a valuable object stuck in your throat. If you remove it, you'll be able to eat properly. It's a jewel worth a fortune." The fish splashed excitedly. "Then help me. Take it out, and you can keep the jewel. You'll be rich instantly." The lazy man scratched his chin. Getting wet and making an effort didn't appeal to him. Besides, he was promised riches without moving. Better not. The wise man told me I'd be rich just by going home. Good luck with your throat. And he walked away, leaving the fish in despair. Later, he reached the sick apple tree. The tree, nearly weeping, pleaded, "Traveler, what did the wise man say? Why can't I bear fruit? There's a chest of gold buried under your roots. That's what's making you sick. You need to dig it up," the lazy man replied. "Please, help me. Take the chest. The gold is yours. Just free my roots so I can live again." The lazy man sighed, bored. "Digging? Getting dirty? No thanks." Finally, at sunset, he reached the wolf. The starving beast, eyes glowing, asked, "What did the wise man say about me?" The lazy man hesitated, then muttered, "He said you should eat the first lazy man you find." The wolf smirked, showing sharp teeth. "And who is lazier than you?" The lazy man turned pale. "Wait, I can change. I'll dig. I'll help the fish." But the wolf wasn't interested in sermons. With a single leap, it pounced on the lazy man, ending his story in an instant. Moral of the story: success doesn't come from magic but from constant effort and dedication. Reflect on your actions and motivations to achieve your goals.